You've probably seen faceless YouTube channels before. Channels getting hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of views, without showing a face, without recording their own voice, just narration, stock footage, simple editing, and a topic people care about. And naturally, when people see this, they start thinking, wait, who's actually running these channels? That's where the whole idea of YouTube automation comes from. Now, most creators talking about YouTube automation make it sound like you upload a few videos, AI videos, and then you suddenly start making passive income while doing nothing at all. That's not the reality. Can you make money with faceless YouTube channels? Absolutely. People are building real businesses from them. But it's not passive, in the beginning at least. And it's definitely not push-button money. The channels that actually succeed usually involve research. They involve consistency, understanding audience psychology, and a lot of iteration. The automation part is mostly about speeding up the workflow, not removing all the work completely. And honestly, that's the biggest misunderstanding beginners have. Now, the reason faceless channels became so popular is because YouTube itself is an extremely powerful business platform. There are billions of users watching videos every month. Advertisers are constantly spending money, and YouTube rewards content that keeps people on the platform longer. That is where terms like CPM and RPM come in. And if you want to understand YouTube automation properly, you need to understand the difference between them. Now, CPM is basically what advertisers are willing to pay to show ads on videos. RPM is what you actually make after YouTube takes its cut. And honestly, beginners obsess way too much over these numbers at first. You'll constantly see people saying, finance has the highest RPM. Or business channels, they make more, tech pays better. And yes, some niches absolutely pay more than others, but beginners often make this mistake of chasing high RPM niches instead of focusing on getting views constantly. A smaller RPM on a channel pulling millions of views is still far better than a high-paying niche where your videos barely get watched. That's why I think niche selection should be based much more on long-term sustainability and audience demand than pure ad rates. Now, another thing that is really, really important is the audience retention. Honestly, this is probably the most important metric on YouTube because YouTube doesn't really care how much effort you put into your video. It just cares whether people keep watching. If viewers click your video and leave quickly, YouTube stops pushing it. But if people stay engaged, the algorithm rewards you with more impressions. And that means your real job is not making videos. Your job is holding attention. And this is where most faceless channels fail. Not because the AI tools are bad, not because the niche is bad, but because the videos are boring. A lot of beginners think automation means removing creativity completely. So they generate robotic scripts, they use generic AI voices, throw some random stock footage together, and wonder why the channel dies after 10 uploads. But viewers notice low effort immediately, especially because YouTube is flooded with AI-generated content at this point. That's why the channels succeeding today usually combine automation with human editing and storytelling. The AI speeds things up, but the creator still shapes the final experience. Now let's talk about how people actually build these channels, because the workflow itself is much more practical than people realize. Most YouTube automation channels, they break the process into separate parts, which is script writing, voiceover, editing, thumbnails, and research. Traditionally, people hired freelancers for all of this. Script writers, editors, thumbnail designers, voice actors. And honestly, once channels grow, that's still what many serious creators do. But for beginners, hiring a full team immediately usually makes no sense financially. You'll burn money very quickly before even knowing whether your channel idea works. And that's why AI tools became such a big deal for YouTube automation. They let one person handle multiple roles at the beginning much more cheaply. For example, ChatGPT can help draft scripts. AI voice tools can handle narration. Canva can help with thumbnails. CapCut or Filmora can handle editing. Stock footage sites provide visuals. And honestly, that's more than enough to get started. But again, this does not mean fully automated. You still need judgment. You still need pacing. You still need to understand what actually keeps viewers interested. Now, niche selection matters a lot more than people realize too. Some niches naturally work better for faceless content because viewers care more about information or storytelling than personality. For example, business or finance or history, philosophy, self-improvement, or documentaries, and some educational content. They all work well because the audience is there for the topic itself. Meanwhile, certain niches are much harder to monetize or sustain with automation. The uploaded video could be like compilations or meditation channels. Those are overcrowded. That is very true. The issue is saturation. When thousands of channels upload nearly identical content, YouTube stops having a reason to recommend yours unless you bring something unique. It's simple as that. And uniqueness doesn't necessarily mean reinventing the entire format. Sometimes it's just better storytelling or stronger pacing or more curiosity-driven titles, or it's just better thumbnails. Speaking of which, thumbnails are another thing beginners massively underestimate. Your thumbnail and title basically determine whether anyone even gives your video a chance. If people don't click, nothing else matters. This is why click-through rate, or CTR, probably heard of it, it matters so much. A strong thumbnail creates curiosity immediately. It makes people feel like they need to know what happens next. And honestly, studying successful thumbnails is probably one of the highest return on investment things beginners can do. Not copying exactly, but understanding patterns. What colors stand out? What emotions get attention? What framing creates curiosity? YouTube is really a psychology game more than a technical game. Now, one thing I actually agree with strongly is research, all right? Research is the most important part. A lot of beginners upload random topics with no validation at all. A much smarter approach is analyzing channels already succeeding in your niche. Just look at their most viewed videos. See for some recurring formats, titles, upload frequency, and audience response. Comments, yes. This gives you direction much faster than trying to guess everything yourself. And honestly, tools like Social Blade or vidIQ become very useful, mostly because they help you identify patterns, not because they magically make channels grow. Now, let's talk about AI scripts specifically, because this is where people become too dependent on automation. Yes, ChatGPT can generate scripts quickly, but raw AI scripts are usually too generic if you don't edit them. That's one of the biggest differences between channels that grow and channels that stagnate. The successful creators usually rewrite sections. They improve hooks, add some stronger storytelling. They cut filler words, and they structure videos around curiosity because, again, YouTube rewards retention. If your intro feels robotic or slow, viewers leave instantly. That's why pacing matters so much. Good faceless channels move quickly. Every 5 to 10 seconds, something changes. Visuals, zooms, cuts, some new info, tension, or transitions. The goal is always to prevent boredom. Now, let's talk realistically about timelines, because this is where people become very impatient. Most faceless channels fail early because creators quit before the channel gathers enough data. YouTube channels often start slow. Sometimes videos barely get views initially. Then suddenly, one video performs well and starts pulling the rest of the channel upward. That's why consistency matters so much. And honestly, I think this is one of the most important mindset shifts. Treat YouTube like a long-term content system and not a lottery ticket. Every upload teaches you something. What titles work, what intros fail, what topics perform, what thumbnails attract clicks. And over time, that feedback compounds. Now, once channels start gaining traction, that's where monetization expands beyond just ad revenue. People usually think YouTube automation only means AdSense, but channels can also monetize through affiliate marketing or some sponsorships, digital products, newsletters, and even selling the channels themselves later. And honestly, Diversified monetization, it's just way smarter because AdSense alone can fluctuate heavily. Now, could AI eventually automate more of this process? Probably, but I still think the human layer matters more than people expect because viewers ultimately respond to storytelling, emotion, curiosity, and pacing. AI helps speed up production, but it doesn't fully replace creative judgment yet. And honestly, I think that's good news because it means the real opportunity is not just using AI, it's combining AI tools with actual understanding of audience psychology. And that's why some channels with simple editing still outperform heavily automated channels. The creator understands people better. So, if I had to summarize YouTube automation realistically, I'd say this. Yes, faceless YouTube channels are a real business model. Yes, AI makes starting easier than ever, but success still depends on consistency, on research, and on storytelling, and of course, understanding retention. The automation removes friction. It doesn't remove the effort. So, think about it. Wish you good luck, and I'll catch you in the next one.